I'm going to hit the record button, and I'm going to mute everybody really quick. And we are ready to roll. Hey everybody, welcome to our final week of this series of our class. Super excited to be here with everyone and really excited to work with all of you on your year-end goals and things like that. I was just mentioning to Brooke, I had a little bit of a crazy night last night with a son that had an emergency appendectomy. So I'm a little frazzled this morning, but all is good. I'm going to refer to my notes a lot. This week, we're going to kind of tie things all together, and we're going to specifically talk about a couple of things: habits, excuses, and fear at the beginning of our call, just so we can kind of end it on a good note for goals and really projecting ourselves into the last few months or month and a half now of 2015 and then first quarter. I think you guys have heard me say a million times that what you're doing today, what you're doing right now is going to affect your bottom line, your income, your growth, your everything first quarter. I see it in every sales organization, and we're no different. That what you're doing now is super important. I think you probably heard on one of the webinars that you've been listening to for homework that she mentioned that November and December is a great month to start your business because people are anxious about our products. They're willing to spend, they want to buy gifts, things like that. So don't dismiss this time as a time to be working. It's very much a time to work. And we've talked about that a million times. So I want to talk just a little bit about habits. As we've spent the last 5 weeks talking about a lot of specifics in our doTERRA business about placement and shows and classes and supplies and different things like that. I think it's really important that we talk about in this last call, personal development. As you guys all know, personal development is super important, and you cannot be a strong salesperson without developing yourself. So we're going to talk today about those types of things. What is a habit? I love this definition from one of my real estate training coaches, and his definition of a habit is a pattern of behavior acquired by frequent repetition. And then somebody that's a little more widely known throughout the world, Aristotle talks about habits as being, we are what we repeatedly do. That's a habit, basically. So whatever it is that we are repeatedly doing, we've formed a habit. So if we have a habit of being late or procrastinating or being sloppy, those are things that are habits in our life, and those happen to be how we become known. So you've all heard people say, well, she's always late. She'll get here, but she's always late. Or she procrastinates, she'll pull it off at the last minute. We don't need to worry about it, but she's a procrastinator. Probably one of my biggest faults. So how many of you guys know how many days it takes to make a habit? Does anybody want to throw that out there? I guess you're all muted, but it basically says, a lot of people say 21 days to break a habit. But if you do any investigating into the sports world, if sports is big in your life or anything, you'll probably hear a lot of people say it's more like 30. Because in order for you to actually make a habit, put a habit into place, if you're going to only give it 21 days, you have to be perfect all 21 days. So they like to say that 30 days, you need a full month to implement a habit into your life. The interesting part is, and this is the thing that really runs true to me, is that if you make a habit, how many days does it take to actually break the habit and get out of the habit? And it's 3. It's only 3 days. So I think that that's something that we have to think about in putting good habits into place, whether it be our schedule or time management or whatever that we're doing. You get out of sync, you get out of habit for 3 days, and your habit is broken and you have to start all over. So that's not to say that taking the weekend off is going to break a habit. What your habit needs to be is the days during the week. Maybe you have a habit of Tuesday through Saturday you work on your doTERRA business. It's okay that you don't work on it on Sunday and Monday because that's your schedule. But if you take off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You're cutting out.
Oh, I am? Okay, thanks, Brooke. Now, still cutting out? I don't know why. I won't move.
No, you're better now.
I am? Yikes. Okay. I'll keep going and not move my head. Internet. It's really windy here. We have a storm brewing, so you never know what it's doing to the internet. Anyway, 3 days. Keep that in mind when you're doing things. I want to talk to you just a little bit about the third webinar from Sprint to the Finish Line. I hope that a lot of you watched that. It was very, very powerful. We're going to talk about it throughout this call. But we talked about, he talked a little bit about doing hard things and the things that you need to put into place so that I actually think it was in the second and third one. So there's things there that you need to talk about or that you need to put into place so that you have the right habits in place so that when hard things come up, you can push through them in a habit sort of situation. He talks about whys, and we talked about our why right back at the very beginning, and I wanted to talk about that again today a little bit because it's so important that we are that we have our whys and we posted them right in front of us so that we know when things get difficult, when we know when things get challenging, what our whys truly are. I think that he mentioned in call 2 or call 3, and hopefully some of you did this, is he said write down 5 or 7 of your most important whys, post them, keep them with you. And we did a lot of those exercises at the very beginning, but those are super important things to keep pushing us through. You know, as I was preparing for this week and as I was thinking about things over the last couple of days and I was listening to things, I certainly am not a professional motivational speaker, and I'm certainly not a professional trainer. I teach different training classes even in my real estate business, but I hope that this has helped you guys as far as like pulling in all these different experts and these different webinar people. I can't tell you how lucky we are to have so many resources right at our fingertips that we need to take advantage of. And one habit that I would really encourage you all to do is watch a webinar a day. Watch, even if you can't get through the whole thing, watch 15 minutes of it. It will set a tone for your day like nothing else if you will just put those positive things into your head and think about those. We were really blessed to hear from Haley Hobson, one of the top wellness advocates in our company, and hear her take on placement and things like that. So reach out. I know as you have looked at these webinars, you have seen other links to other things, and there's just a plethora of information out there that you guys can all apply into your business. We're talking a little bit about habits. I want to talk a little bit about excuses, which I think that we all have times when we really struggle with an excuse. I'm going to just glance at my phone really quick and make sure it's not somebody that's trying to get in, and it's not. So excuses are tough. I think our bodies are trained to, when things get difficult, we're trained to come up with excuses. I think it's something that we have done since we were very little and very small, and it's something that we need to recognize in ourselves. I know even for me personally, when I'm going through some difficult times and I'm maybe making excuses for myself or making excuses to other people, I have started really recognizing that and thinking, okay, either I'm overcommitted or my why has changed, my priorities have changed, and I need to really take a strong look at why I'm making excuses all the time. It's super important in this business and as salespeople that we stop that we stop making excuses for ourselves, even to ourselves and to other people, and rely on our habits and our whys to get us through the situation that we are facing or that's challenging us so that we don't have to make excuses for ourselves. Stop right now and just think for a second. Think about maybe the last few days, maybe your doTERRA business, maybe something else in your life, and think about maybe some of the excuses that you've made just recently to yourself, you know, just why you're not achieving what you're achieving, why you aren't getting something done that you want to get done. Stop for just a minute and think about the excuses that you're making, and maybe jot them down if you have a piece of paper and a pencil handy, or put them in your phone if you're able to do that. And just think about that, and then after the call, take some time to maybe think about what habits you could try and put in place, or what part of your why would help you address those excuses to get rid of them. We all have them, and I can tell you to be really successful in any business, you've got to get rid of the excuses. You've got to focus on your whys, and you've got to focus on your habits. I think I've mentioned a couple times that I'm taking a concurrent class to this one, an 8-week course. And one of the things that we talked about a few weeks ago, which I think plays really well into excuses, is 4 really nasty, horrible words that we should eliminate from our vocabulary. And as I've been focusing on these words, I've actually caught myself in this call saying them just a couple of times and trying to switch the word around a little bit. But I think that if you think about these words and try and eliminate them from your vocabulary, it will help you eliminate a lot of your excuses in your business. The 4 words are trying, hard, impossible, and can't. And I think the biggest excuse that we sometimes say to ourselves is, I'm trying. This is hard. I think that you heard even on the webinars, people say there's nothing easy about this business. But a way to kind of turn that hard word around to put it more into an action word is challenging. Trying. Stop saying I'm trying. You need to get rid of that word completely in your vocabulary and switch it around to say something that's more positive and more positive driven. Impossible. Nothing's impossible. If you set your mind to it and you really have your whys in front of you and you're focused on those whys, it's not impossible. Then of course, can't. I can't do that. Now, of course, there's a time when it's a good thing to say no to something. That won't fit in my schedule right now. I have to at this time tell you no. But I think that using the word can't, a lot of you are moms. We don't like hearing that from our kids. I can't. So think about those 4 words and think about if it would make sense to you and your business to get rid of those 4 words and replace them with positive words. There's going to be difficult days, definitely. Notice I didn't say hard days. Notice I said difficult days. I've noticed that on the webinars, there has not been one person that has not said to us that there were days that they wanted to quit. I love the saying that says, if you're going to quit, only quit on a good day. And that's so true in any sales business, in any entrepreneurial business, which is what you guys are. We're all entrepreneurs, and we all own our own businesses, and we are going to have difficult days that you think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And that's when sometimes you need to look at your whys, look at your 7 whys or your 5 whys or your overall why or your vision board or whatever it is, and say, this is why. This is what's going to get me through this difficult time. Let's see. I think that commitment is super important. And then I want to talk for a minute about breaking things down. I'm trying to kind of summarize a lot of the calls that we've had, and I'm trying to explain that everything that we've talked about, from the tactics of post-coaching and attendance and booking classes to placement to enrolling to all of those things, comes right back to that all-important first call when we talked about our goals and our dreams and our aspirations and our whys and those types of things. That really is understanding that and having complete clarity. I think that you heard in several of the webinars where they talked about clarity was it. Once I had clarity, I could break down all of the things that I needed to do and put them in perspective and that's when my business took off. And so I think that you have to have complete clarity of your whys and what you're trying to achieve. And it needs to be absolutely crystal clear. And I know after first week, I received a lot of messages from a lot of you that felt like going through that exercise was helping you in your business. I'm a firm believer that whys change. I'm a firm believer that your crystal clear outlook changes, but you need to be honest with yourself and change things. Don't let doors be closed on you. Close them or open them yourself. Be in charge of your own direction in your own life and make sure that you're opening those doors that you want to have opened and you're changing things that you want to have changed. Sometimes I think when we're on this call that I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, because you people you want it. Obviously, you want it, or else you wouldn't be on this call. You're trying to achieve better things in your life. You're trying to reach your goals, and you have lofty whys and lofty ideals and things like that. But I think any of us, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, there's that natural man part of us that we get beat up, we get worn down, and that's why it's so important to put these things back in place. So daily habits, obviously they're the stepping stones of what gets you from point A to point B. So as we're closing out this year, and we're looking at now November 15th, we're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. I think someone said are we like 6 weeks away from Christmas right now, which absolutely blows my mind. You have to be really thinking about the end of the year, and you have to be very methodical and accurate and intentional in everything that you're planning right now, because it is getting to be crunch time. And what you really need to do is you've got to take a look at what your goal is. And maybe the best thing for you to do is to think about, okay, what do I want to finish out for the rest of the year? What is it that I really want to do between now and December 31st? And maybe it's you want to be premier. I want to be premier by the end of December, no question. And I want to be able to have this done by February. And maybe it's reaching for silver. Maybe it's something else. But whatever it is, get very realistically clear on what that's going to be. If you just signed up, it might be a stretch to become silver in 6 weeks by the end of December. So be realistic. And if you don't really understand what that means or what that looks like, you need to talk with your mentor and make a plan. There's nothing better than when somebody calls and says, okay, what's realistic? What can we do together? Where can I be December 31st? We're all there to try and help you do that. But let's just say that, what you had decided to do was become premier by the end of December. Well, my guess is some of the bite-sized pieces, just to kind of give you an example of the bite-sized pieces that I think that you need to be thinking about. They would be connect with your two builders. Obviously, when you're premier, it's the first time that you have a structured line underneath you, and you need to have conversations with those two builders to make sure, are they supporting you? Do they have no intention of doing what you need them to do? And is this really going to be on your back to get this done? You need to have those conversations. And do you have your shows and your classes booked between now and Christmas? Do you have time carved out in your schedule to do emails and phone calls and follow-up and sampling and one-on-ones? All of those things it's going to take you to get there. I know that right after the first of the month, Jenica and I sat down and we mapped out kind of her quest, what she was trying to do by the end of November. And we actually, like I think I've told you guys before, I'm a very visual person, and so I get out the big flip charts. And we wrote down all the people, and we wrote down all the volume that we needed, and we circled things and said, okay, we need 4 new enrollees here, we need 6 new enrollees here, and we need this to be this PV. And we mapped it out visually so that we could see. The biggest thing that I want to stress to you guys is that if you want success in this business, if you want success in any sales business, any entrepreneurial business, it doesn't just happen. You can't just sit back and wait and for luck that all of a sudden my team just grew. It takes constant planning. If you don't think in big corporations that salespeople are held to quotas and prospecting times and numbers and reports, you're absolutely wrong. All of those things have to be taken into consideration. You can say, well, we want to work for ourselves and we want to have this wonderful life. And I think if you interviewed anybody that's got that wonderful life in doTERRA, they're going to tell you that the structure of their organization and mapping out their goals and figuring dollar per dollar where the volume's coming from, what shows need to happen, what one-on-ones need to happen, how many enrollees need to happen this month. That is absolutely part of the deal. And as a leader, we all need to be willing to do that at the very first of the month, and then again on the 14th, and then again on the 16th, after all of the orders have ran on the 15th prior to the promotion deadline. So it's super important that you stay on top of that planning. It's a lot of work. But it's awesome. It's a great thing to do. And it's very, very motivating and exhilarating to see that it's possible. I've heard several people, Brooke for one, say, I see the path. I think when I lay things out on the table for me, I can see the path. I can see where it needs to happen. And when you aren't looking at those things, when you aren't looking at your back office, if you aren't working your numbers, you're not seeing the path. And how can you work it? How can you work a business if you don't clearly see the path? So that's basically what I wanted to talk about today, just about the habits being your stepping stones, about your whys getting you through the difficult times. That's really what you've got to do. And then just major repetition, just really focusing on getting rid of those excuses and focusing on the things that are going to take you to where you really want to go. I want to spend some time really quick. Looks like we're going to wrap up just in time, but I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about homework and just kind of telling you a little bit about what I would like to see us all work on the next little bit. We didn't really get a chance, especially because there's not a lot of people on the call today. I think we only have 4 or 5, and then there's so many people that are listening to it because they have commitments at this time. But I really want to get into a conversation about the book Starfish. So I would like to post, I will later on this evening, I will post a post on our Facebook page that has a picture of the book so that then everyone can comment below what they're getting from the book. I know Brooke's using the book in some of her training right now, but I would like to post that and then have everyone chime in about what's your take home, what have been some of your aha moments with the book. Have you learned from it? Have you gained from it? And let's teach each other. So if you can, keep your comments right below where I post the Starfish book. That'll keep everything organized, and you'll be able to refer to that often and kind of just, get ideas from other people. So let's work on that. The other thing that I want to talk about really quick is as we go into the holiday season and as we go into December and as we start into 2016, I want to set up a book of the month club kind of thing where we continue to do this. I will be starting these classes over in January sometime, but I'd like to start by every month suggesting a book that we're reading at the very beginning of the month. And then towards the end of the month, we'll post it on Facebook and everyone can start chiming in and we can kind of do an online book review since we don't have the chance to all sit around and talk in a meeting. So I think that would be very beneficial if we could really up our reading and up our knowledge that way. I want you to chime in on Facebook page if you are committed to not using those words. If you're going to try and get rid of excuses in your life and not use those 4 words that we talked about, I would like for you to post publicly on our Facebook page that you're accepting the challenge and that you're going to work hard on not using those words. And then I think that also at the end of our program, I would love to see all of you post your whys, post a picture of your vision board, share with us your whys in written form if that's what you want to do. But I would love to hear from some of you why you're doing what you're doing, and I think it's empowering to other people. So if you feel like you can share those, I know at the very beginning we shared a lot of those, but I would love to see us do it again now to see if things have changed in the last 6 weeks, as you've learned and you've grown, I'm going to speak here. How has your whys changed? Have you put together that vision board? What have you got sitting around your desk? What quote are you looking at every day? What is helping you? What are your whys that you're referring to when you're having one of those challenging, difficult days? And then lastly, not lastly, there's a couple more things. My third to last challenge for you is I want you to pick up the phone this week and I want you to talk to 2 of your builders and really see whether it's on the phone, no emails, no text messages, whether it's on the phone or over lunch or over a drink or over coffee or whatever it is that you do. I want you to pick up the phone and have that conversation with them about what their intentions are. Where are they wanting to go? What are they wanting to do? Are they fully committed? And I know every single one of you right now in your mind is thinking, I need to do that with this person and this person, or I need to do this with this person and I need to do it with this person. You know, whatever it might be, have those conversations this week as you're rounding out your year. It's a great time, and I know there's leaders and builders on this call that you guys are going to be calling each other, which I think is great because we all know that it's an assignment now. But it's a great time to assess and say, I am setting my 2016 goals. This is what I'm doing. I'm getting ready to set my 2016 goals, and I need to know, tell me what your thought process is. Are you trying to get here? Are you not trying to get here? Let's have this conversation so that we're really clear on what we're doing in 2016, and then start going. Maybe schedule a team planning meeting, a team goal setting meeting, things like that. This is the time. I know that it's a great time for me we all set our New Year's resolutions. We all do that kind of thing, but you need to really take this time to break down your goals and get serious about what you're doing for 2016. I really, as I watched them for probably the 4th time yesterday and this morning, I want you to watch those sprint to the finishes again. Every time I watch them, I get something else out of them. I think that he's just so well spoken, and knowing that she's a blue diamond and what she's gone through, exactly what we are going through right now. Such awesome information. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to them yet, do it. If you have already listened to them, I challenge you to listen to them again because they're that good. And post on them. Post on our Facebook page so that everyone can see and hear what you're thinking, what you took from it, what you loved about that webinar. And then lastly, I just want to say thanks to all of you for participating in this. This was super awesome for me. And I love reaching out. I feel like I've gotten to know so many of you better just by doing this class. It's been a little challenging during Diamond Club to try and make sure I was at a place on Wednesdays or Tuesdays that I could do this. And I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I think, you know, there's always that thing that when you teach a class, when you are the trainer, whenever you have to do research and do something like that, you learn the most, you benefit the very most. So without a doubt, I feel like I have benefited so much just from being able to do this. And I hope it's helped you guys as much. I would love to hear some feedback, whether you want to private message me or email me or post it on Facebook, you know, whatever you want to do. I would love to hear some feedback as to how this helped you and what you would love to see in our next class in the spring when we start up again. I'd love for you to be thinking about the leaders on your team, or maybe even the new enrollees that are just starting and getting ready, and who we can include in that class. We're looking forward to being able to do round 2. And then during December, I'm going to be down just a little bit, having a little procedure on December 1st. So during December, I hope to be doing a little bit of phone calling, some one-on-ones and some things like that. So if you need any time from me during December after about the 13th or 14th, I'd be happy to spend some one-on-one time with you on goal setting and those types of things. So I hope that's it. I'm going to unmute you really quick. Is there anything that anybody wants to jump in and say? You are unmuted. So anything at all? You guys are so quiet.
Thank you for doing this. This has been very eye-opening for me.
Hey, I appreciate you saying that. Lots of fun stuff to learn, right?
Yes, a lot. A lot about me, a lot about business, a lot about doTERRA. So.
Good. Well, that's what we wanted. And all of the videos from the classes, they will be on my YouTube channel, Bottled Balance. You guys can watch them over again. You can share them with people in your downline that need to listen to this before we get started again in January. So I appreciate you chiming in and letting me know. I never know if this is helping or not, but I appreciate your feedback a lot. Anybody else?
To say the same thing of thank you for taking the time to do this, and I know I've known you for a long time, but really getting to know you and hearing what an amazing leader and these great ideas, it's very helpful. So I really loved hearing more from you. So thank you for doing
Well, thank you. I appreciate you chiming in whenever I put you on the spot and helping, because Brooke could be doing this class for sure. So
no, I've learned so many things.
Good. Well, we'll keep it going, you guys. I have great belief in all of you. We're going to do amazing things. It's going to be us at conference this coming September that's walking the stage, and the limelight's going to be all on all of us because of all the amazing things this group is going to be doing. So roll up your sleeves, girls, get busy on everything we're supposed to be doing, and let's make it an awesome rest of the year and a fabulous 2016. All right?
All right, thank you, Sue.
Hey,
It's been
thank
fun.
you. Talk
Thank
to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.